want to uh, neutralize their tailpipe emissions. Tailpipe emissions means, the car's tailpipe emissions. They want to neutralize. The first commitment. The second commitment is life cycle zero carbon dioxide emissions. Not only in the ultimate product, they want to carbon neutralize from the procuring from the raw material and to the till the disposal of that product. So they want to be carbon neutral from the raw material to the disposal of that product. The third commitment will be the plant zero commission. Plant zero. Like in their manufacturing also, they want to be carbon neutralized. They don't only into carbon neutralize in the product, like in cars. They want to be carbon neutral in their manufacturing plants also. So this is the third commitment committed by them. The fourth one is minimize water uses. Whatever the water they are using, they want to minimize. That is the fourth commitment. And the fifth one is establish recycle based society. So creating circular economy. Okay, we will look in further slides. And the sixth commitment is harmony with the nature, like protecting and enhancing biodiversity. So we will understand and we will discuss everything about in detail in the latter slides. So in 2015, they are getting some pressure from the regulatory as well as from the investors, and they are also facing some internal challenges. To overcome with these challenges, they came up with these 6 commitments. So let's discuss how they have prepared these commitments, how they have achieved, and what are their progress. We will discuss in the further slides. Okay. So to achieve these 6 commitments, they came up with a multi-pathway philosophy. See, before entering into this topic, let me clear one thing. Before studying this case study of Toyota, I used to have an assumption that whenever we are listening about electronic vehicles, we used to assume that, I used to assume that the electric vehicles are 100% electric. Means 100% they run on the electricity only. But after studying their strategy, their products, their portfolio of the products, I got so much knowledge. Okay. So what are their multi-pathway philosophy? Instead of going with only 100% electric vehicles, they came up with different products. Okay. First one is hybrid electric vehicles. So what kind of vehicle it is? See, and why as per my understanding, why they have came up with different portfolio of products, because of the 2 challenges. One is internal challenge, another one is external challenge. Internal challenge means, like, till now, since decades, they are producing and they are the global leader in conventional vehicles. Suddenly they have to take a U-turn in the electronic vehicles. Suddenly they have to take, but they cannot forego their research and development and their hardship, right? They want to utilize that expertise also and the market demand also. They want to come up with their internal challenge. The internal challenge is they have to take U-turn or 90-degree shift. Okay, that is the first challenge. The second challenge is they are facing industry challenge also. They are not getting sufficient amount of raw material to build these products. Okay, so let's discuss one by one how they have came up with different types of products. Okay, first one is hybrid electronic vehicle. What is this? It in this product, in these cars, they have 2 types of engines. One is gasoline engine, another one is electricity engine. And the speciality about this car is you don't need to plug any kind of electricity here. It will have 2 engines. One is gasoline engine, another one is electricity engine. But you don't need to plug any kind of electricity. But how they get energy, electricity, they get energy. Okay. Hybrid electronic vehicles combine gas engine with electric motors, automatically choosing the optimal source and blend of powers, because the hybrid battery recharges on the go through regenerative braking. You don't need to plug any kind of electricity. The electricity will be internally generated. So that's why we are calling it as a hybrid electronic vehicle. And the second one is plug-in hybrid vehicle. That is, in this, you will have same. One is gasoline engine, another one is electric engine, but you cannot completely depend on the internally generative electricity, because if you want to travel for long distances, you cannot depend on the minimum amount of electricity generated in internally. So for that, they have installed two engines. One is gasoline engine, another one is electric engine. So you can use two kind of engines for long distances. Like for example, here you can see like plug-in hybrid electronic vehicles. You can use for long distances, right? You can use for the electricity engine till once the electricity is over, you can use the gasoline also. So for long distances, you cannot use hybrid electric vehicles. For that purpose, they came up with the plug-in hybrid vehicles. So all these are hybrid vehicles. It means it will have gasoline engine as well as the electric engine. These are two. And the third one is this is 100% electricity. You don't need to depend on any kind of gasoline. So these are 100% emission free. Okay. And the fourth one is hydrogen power based. And these are the new products. So why they have came up with the different portfolio in their products? For that, they have a different or a well researched study, and they have strategy also. Let me explain that strategy. That is the 1:6:90 strategy. What is this strategy? Just assume. Okay, they have 100 kilowatt hour battery. Okay, because see, this electronic EV industry is totally depend on the raw material available in the market. Okay, like even today also India is facing the same problem. So total EV industry is facing the same problem. That is the rare earth minerals like lithium or cobalt. Okay, just assume because of the scarcity of the minerals, they want to diversify. Okay, they want to diversify these batteries. Just assume they have only 100 kilowatt hour battery. If they produce one battery electric vehicle, they have to use this battery for entire battery for only one vehicle. But if they are producing this like plug-in hybrid electronic vehicles, you don't need 100 kilowatt hours battery, because these vehicles requires less amount of batteries, like 16.667 means in 100 kilowatt hours battery they can produce 6 electronic vehicles. And in hybrid vehicles, they don't need 100 kilowatt hour battery. They can use only 1.1 kilowatt hour battery for producing one hybrid vehicles. It means in 100 kilowatt hour battery, they can produce 90 hybrid vehicles. So now they are producing these three types of vehicles, because to overcome their challenges internally as well as externally. External challenge means the scarcity of the raw material. Whatever the raw material they are getting, they are scattering their raw material so that they can optimize their production within limited resources. They can produce more output. And the internal challenge is, see, अगर आपको बोला जाए, if you are in a teaching field, suddenly बोला जाएगा कि आप एआई आने के वजह से टीचिंग फील्ड बंद होने वाली है, यू हैव टू शिफ्ट टू एनी अदर इंडस्ट्री, तो आपको तो धक्का लगेगा ही ना. तो आप थोड़ी ना कोई इंडस्ट्री में चले जाओगे, बट यू विल लुक फॉर ए इंडस्ट्री विच विल एनहांस योर कैपेबिलिटीज, विच विल यूज योर एक्सपर्टाइज, टीचिंग एक्सपर्टाइज आल्सो. यू वोंट फॉरगोन, राइट? आप पूरी की तरह आपकी पिछला जो था आपका ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड भूल नहीं जाओगे ना. That's why to come up with internal challenge, they have introduced these hybrid electronic vehicles. Okay, so this is their significant strategy to come up with all these GHG emissions. Okay, and this is the first strategy. The second one is implementing UNFCCC recommendations. How they have implemented whatever UNFCCC recommended, they are implementing, and this is their strategy status. In transportation and fleet management, whatever recommendations proposed by UNFCCC, they are implementing, and they have implemented about 90% of their recommendations, like we have discussed earlier. This one, okay. And the second one is in energy management. Yes, till now they are depending only on 3% on the renewable energy, but they are targeting 45% renewable electricity by 2026, and they are using like ISO 14001 certification in environmental management system also. This is in energy management. In waste reduction and circular economy, 93% of manufacturing waste recycled, reused, or repurposed. And this action, whatever they have planned, they have completed or implemented 93%. And they have reduced 22% reduction in single-use packaging material since 2018. So this is in waste reduction and circular economy. In water stewardship, they have reduced 6% reduction in water withdrawal per vehicle versus 2021 baseline. Okay, sustainable procurement, they want to go green in the procurement also. That's why 75% suppliers are reporting their emission data. And when it comes to organizational sustainable culture, they have implemented all the recommendations. Until now, they have implemented 95% of their recommendations. How they have implemented comprehensive sustainability governance structure in their board of directors, environmental training for all the employees, and they are running this Toyota environmental resource for responsible action programs and implementing science-based targets validated by SBTi. So this is for organizational culture, and this is the visualization, whatever they have committed and how much they have completed till now. Okay. Next, the electrification, the same thing. In 1997, they first introduced Prius, that is hybrid vehicle. Whatever we have discussed, the first vehicle, hybrid one, they have introduced in 1997. Till 2012, they have achieved 1 million hybrid milestone, and till 2020, they have achieved 15 million hybrid sold. And in 2024, they have achieved 27 million hybrid achievements, okay, which is equivalent to preventing 9 million conventional vehicles worth of carbon dioxide emissions. Because of their production in this way, they can prevent 9 million conventional vehicles worth of carbon dioxide emissions. And this is the strategy we have already discussed. And in 2024, their performance metrics are 77% of Toyota Lexus are electrified, and 29.2% of US vehicles are electrified, and 21% of their GHG emissions, 21% mile, okay, they have reduced vehicle emissions, but the target is 33.33% by 2030. And manufacturing emissions, they have reduced 14% when compared to 2019 baseline, and their target is carbon neutral, and the timeline is 2035. Okay, these are their metrics. Okay, and in manufacturing also same thing. Their current status is 7.2 renewable electricity, but their target is 2026 target is 45% renewable electricity they want to depend, and 2035 goal is 100% renewable electricity. And these are their solar plants and everything, their projects. Okay, in water stewardship, yes, same thing, 6.8 reduction, advanced water treatment, and same thing. These are the challenges, and these are their progress report. And the most important thing is, as we have discussed in the class, as sir told, whenever we are preparing any mitigation plan, we have to consider about our financial investment also. So they have committed 70 billion commitments, $70 billion. Okay. And the major investment areas are $70 billion in vehicle electrification by 2030, and 13.6 billion specifically for battery technology development, and $3.4 billion for US automotive battery production, and 1.3 billion North Carolina battery manufacturing plant, and billions more in renewable energy projects and infrastructure. Yes, it is okay. It is good to invest in the in these projects, but every time we have to look after that, what kind of returns we are getting, what kind of benefits we are getting, whether it is suitable for our plan or not. If we are investing, but if we are not getting any kind of returns, that is not a successful strategy, right? So whatever they are investing, they are getting in terms of returns. The return on investment through their sustainability, whatever they have investment, whatever measures they have taken, they are getting some kind of returns. What kind of returns they are getting? They are getting returns in terms of cost saving, 14% reduction in their operational emissions, and 77% of in growth, in revenue growth. And risk mitigation, yes, they are regulatory compliance and prepared already for the forthcoming risks. And the last one is brand value. They are now global sustainability leadership, customer loyalty they are getting, and market differentiation they are getting, because they are combining not only this electric engine, they are combining with the conventional engine also. So they are coming with some differentiation. Okay, the technology we have already discussed about these things. Okay, and the community impact, yes, they are creating some community impact also. So to secure the biodiversity, they are investing in pollinator partnership program. Okay, like they are investing in these areas where they are some organizations are spending their time or they work to save these we can insects like these butterflies, which have major contribution in our agriculture in pollination. Okay, so the Toyota is investing in these programs. So till now they have invested in 14,000 acres of pollinator habitat development, and the target is 26,000 acres. Okay, like they are committed, like you can see here. Okay, this is their, okay, this is their commitment. Till now they have achieved like this. Okay, and so these are their commitments. Okay, but to save the biodiversity, and they are engaging in educational outreach also, educational outreach and community engagement. Okay, like Canvit partnership promoting renewable energy education, STEM education initiatives in local schools, team member engagement through Terra programs. We have discussed about Terra. Okay, the community workshop for sustainability practices. Their future vision is 70% electrified sales in US market, 45% renewable electricity at North American facilities, and 33%. These are the short-term goals. They want to short-term commitments. And their medium-term commitments, manufacturing carbon neutrality, all global manufacturing facilities carbon neutral, complete renewable energy transition, and advanced circular economy. This is medium-term strategy. And their ultimate and long-term strategy is 2050, that is full life cycle carbon neutrality. Okay, like for that they are in these are their emerging technology roadmap. Okay, and what lessons we are learning, or what lessons these automotive industry should learn, or as a learners we can learn. First one is key success factors: long-term commitment, patient capital investment over decades. We cannot expect results in the short term or in 1 year or 2 years. It is a long-term commitment, as we have discussed in the classroom as well, right? Technology diversity, we cannot simply depend on single project or single product. Avoiding single solution limitations through multi-pathway approach, like Toyota has like strategy in multi-products approach, right? Third one is stakeholder engagement, building comprehensive partnership ecosystem, like they are partnering with the pollinator partnership program. Continuous improvement, adaptive strategies based on learning and Kaizen philosophy. Last one is comprehensive approach, addressing all environmental dimensions simultaneously, right? And all these are quantified transformation. We have already discussed all these figures. Here, this is the like data visualization. Okay, these are, and with this, like same thing repetition. Okay, so like this, whatever they have prepared the strategy, they have followed UNFCCC recommendations combined with innovative technology development and substantial financial commitments. See, you have recommendations, you have technology, but you don't have any kind of financial commitments. As we have discussed in previous class, like governments, they have everything, like, but they don't have financial commitments. The strategy is not going to work. Okay, so their ultimate program is operational GHG emissions, 21% reduction in vehicle emissions per mile, and $70 billion invested in electrification. Okay, like this, they are getting global climate leadership. This is okay, and these whatever program, whatever data I have compiled, this report is based on Toyota's 2024 North American Environmental Sustainability Report and UNFCCC greenhouse gas reduction recommendations and public sustainability disclosures. All data and achievement present Toyota Motor North America's performance as of physical 2024. So with this, I have completed my presentation, sir.
Did you complete it or did you start it? It's only 30 minutes.
Now I think I will not present. इसका 1/4 भी नहीं है मेरा actually.
Same thought.
है ना?
I have only 8-9 slides.
Really?
Correct.
Let me first congratulate the person who did a good job. Yeah,
Very well done. Very well done.
The knowledge which he has brought in, it's a wealth for a lot of people.
Mazhar, please share in the group.
Yeah, please share.
Yeah.
Mazhar,
Yes, sir.
this is 11th cohort.
Yes, sir.
Nobody has gone to this depth that they found out a data that the
Yes.
whole program is linked to UNFCCC. Never heard.
Yes.
So your premise itself was well researched, right? And then a lot
Yes.
of people struggle to talk about 6 chapters, 7 chapter. Nobody has done 1 chapter. So well done. This is one of those batch where I'm seeing whoever is bringing something, they are bringing really quite in-depth research. Very
Yes,
good.
sir. The simple strategy is whatever you taught in our class. I have noted down those points, and I tried to find out those terminologies as well as those strategies in their real life companies, as well as whether whatever you have taught, it is whether it is framework or not. In which framework it is getting covered. So when I seeing all those terminologies you have taught in our classroom, it was very much like aligned with the UNFCCC. So I have gone through their UNFCCC, and so I try to link these frameworks with this Toyota report, sir, mitigation report.
मजर जी होमवर्क बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छा है.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Obviously.
No, Bilkul, that is why your outcome is exceptional
Yes, yes.
because you have followed a structure. However,
Yes.
still there is an area of improvement which you should be
Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
not 1, 3. One, it should be on presentation. It's not a research document. You should be able to present it to a stakeholder. And
Yeah.
stakeholder loves less of writing, more of pictures
Yes.
and representations. So you have to think on that. Second,
Yes.
one place you have talked about ISO 14001
Yes.
inside energy conservation. Now, energy conservation has a different ISO, not
Okay.
14001. 14,000 is for EMS. Okay.
Okay.
See the heading
Okay.
here. Heading.
Okay. Okay.
Energy
Sir,
management, right? That is
correct.
45,000 or 50,000, Mayurji?
50,000, 50,000.
50,000. Yeah. So 50,000 is the ideal candidate here.
Okay.
Not the 14,001. So be careful on such thing because people will pick. If
Okay. Okay.
they can pick, everybody can pick. Otherwise, everything was on to the target. So if
Okay.
you
Okay.
have referred from certain document, please
Okay.
take it in. And if required, send them a message that why you have put 14,001 here in
Okay.
energy management when there is no relevance. That
Okay, sir.
good input to Toyota itself. Okay.
Mm.
So that is the second. And third feedback, try to limit the time. Time
Uh,
also is essence. We are not minding it, but it is essential part of the whole thing. And I love your 160 and 19. That's these charts, etc. was definitely a plus sign. But
yes,
you are not able to read because you have to understand it's not a presentation mode. Okay. So that is why I ask you, if you could have put on presentation, those charts also could have come very well. The
yes, sir.
chart in the bottom. But this 1, 6, and 90,
Yes.
loveliest stuff, loveliest stuff. Half of
Yes.
the quack will, after seeing this particular presentation, they will repent themselves what they talk in the public media. Nobody understand this. Nobody
Yes.
also understand that they did 27,000 hybrid vehicle and
Yes.
actually they removed 9,000 ICE vehicle from the road. 9
Yes. Yes.
million. Yeah, you have
Yes.
talked about that. That's
This one. This one.
yes, very
Yes.
good job. Okay,
Yes, sir.
very good.
Thank you.
Chaliye. It doesn't matter. Everybody has its own way to style to present. Okay, so Dr. Deepa, Richa, it doesn't matter. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead and present.
Shall I go ahead now? Toyota only.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it's Toyota's path to carbon neutrality. And here I have explored some strategies what they have adopted in greenhouse gas reduction. And they are very ambitious
Dr. Richa,
in
at
doing
least
so.
presentation you should do with camera on.
Oh, yeah, but will I be able to? Okay. Am I, is that okay? So here I have to say that in which they are coming with, I mean, how their global carbon footprint is there in scope 3, scope 1, and how this kind of carbon dioxide emission is happening under each scope. So this is what I have showed here. And scope 1, direct energy use and purchase electricity. Scope 2, business travel employees, all that 30%, and 70% is in total global carbon footprint is on downstream vehicle driving, that they are, from the vehicles what they have sold. And here it is coming CO2 emissions and renewable electricity ratio. How did they develop or evolve from 2014 to 2024? How did they switch into renewable electricity? And then how did they reduce the carbon dioxide emissions? And this is the same diagram which was there already in the second slide. Mission and vision of environmental challenge, that is of Toyota in 2050. They have one motto like respect for the planet, and it drives environmental challenge 2050. And here challenge 1 is that 90% of their carbon dioxide reduction will be there till 2050. What was there from what was there in the 2010. And challenge 2 is that carbon dioxide, zero carbon dioxide in full vehicle life cycle, that is from the raw materials in the production process and how it is used and till the disposal. And challenge 3 for them is that all global manufacturing plants are supposed to be global neutral, carbon neutral by 2035. I have mainly taken it from this entire matter from North American, whatever they have published it in their firm. And this is carbon neutrality achievement. How do they plan? Life cycle zero carbon dioxide emissions challenge, new vehicle zero carbon dioxide emissions challenge, and planet zero carbon dioxide emissions challenge. There are 3 sections that they are planning for, and they have achieved some important other side of the environmental challenges. I mean, they are try to achieve that also, minimizing and optimizing the water usage and establishing recycling-based society and systems. They are promoting all this to protect our Mother Earth. And mid and near term milestones that I have already told you that by 2030, new vehicle emissions reduction 35. Again, from 2019, that they will be reduced much more than 50%. They will be reducing, and to 68%. Scope 1 and 2 emissions will be cut. 68%. That is what their milestones. And here it is. How is their mitigation strategies from 1992? 2015 to 2010. So it is given in the chart. And 2050 execution is that Toyota is actively implementing targets across global regions, not only in the North American region. In global approvals, its science-based targets is approved in SBTI as SBTI, and in North America especially, they reduce the fleet emissions by 21%, and they are aiming the carbon neutrality in 2035, deploying solar, PV, and eco-plant initiatives and local recycling programs. The key strategies are electrification, renewable energy promotion, and energy efficiency. LED lighting, heat recovery, smart manufacturing systems, especially in the process and in the production, they are focusing on energy efficiency and renewable energy usage and electrification. They are mainly focusing on hybrid, plug-in hybrid, BEV, battery electric vehicle, and hydrogen HCV, decarbonizing mobility quickly. I mean, these are all the technical terms which I am trying to understand. This is what Mazhar had told. It seems 1:6:90 BEV and PHEV, like this kind of production they are aiming at. Logistics and supply chain, deploying FC hydrogen trucks, optimizing routes, and imposing supplier targets. All these are coming under their key strategies, and establishing global battery collection, recycling, and this is again the circularity, that how that just that womb to tomb kind of approach they have adopted. And major challenges what they are facing is that hydrogen FC infrastructure is costly and limited, and supply chain emissions, hidden emissions in mining, battery production, and they are not able to, maybe they are not able to quantify, or else they understand what it is, and cost barriers are there, regulatory complexity is there, and the next one is that insights and what worked. Still, though they have some challenges, they have worked through all this. Hybrid leadership is there. That means the leadership is aiming at how can they be sustainable and at the same time financially also profitable. And environmental challenge 2050 provides clarity and focus. So they are fixed to that kind of framework, that UNFCCC, and value chain engagement and holistic approach. That is the main thing that they have worked on. So that's how they could achieve something, and they are aiming more. So looking forward and investing in solid state batteries, and building closed loop battery ecosystems, and integrating renewables globally, navigating supply chain emissions, hydrogen infrastructure scale up, and market diversification. So they are aiming at all this. This is a very small, short kind of thing. Thank you.
Good stuff, sharp to the point, and covered most of the stuff. The first slide was your
Almost the same thing, I think. The same I
Indeed.
have told, like
Indeed.
measure. Yeah.
If it is the same topic, of course, mostly it will be on same line. And given that the previous speaker has done complete stuff,
Yeah, correct.
it's a normal to feel that I'm also covering the same part. But the first slide was completely different, as you can see. He has not shown a scope 1, 2, 3, and that's how you started. And
Yeah, it has.
that's the differentiator. So good stuff.
I would have included that major investment area and what they have done within the organization, which Mazhar had mentioned. So that is also one thing that I could have added. I feel that I have not added.
So
That,
that's
yeah.
the feedback. That's the feedback.
Yeah.
Feedback is exactly what Mazhar said, that if you put a structure around your presentation, automatically your presentation goes to the next level. Remember that next time, do that, specifically when you are doing the final assignment. Be careful on that. Clear?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank you.
move on to somebody else. Who is going next? Mayurji? Sorry, who wants to go next?
I'll do IKEA.
Yeah, go ahead, Sir.
IKEA is Toyota or IKEA?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
You're IKEA.
IKEA.
Are you changing at the last moment?
No, I do. I'll appreciate your feedback.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So assuming that you have done both.
Which
Go
one?
ahead.
I have just done IKEA.
IKEA,
Okay,
do
I can.
IKEA. Do IKEA.
Okay. So my screen is visible.
Yes, but
Is
make
my
it,
screen visible?
it is visible. Make it full screen.
Now?
No, there is. Yeah, now it is. Yes, go ahead. Good.
So hello everybody. Today I bring to you a green journey of IKEA, which involves vision, mission, missions. There's a controversy, there are failures, and there are success stories. So the flow goes as like first we'll have a little introduction of IKEA, then what are the GHG targets and the mitigation strategy on the carbon emission. What are the main focus areas, the actions which they have taken, what were the sustainability milestones achieved, their climate footprint and the challenges and the solutions, plus the controversies, and how IKEA handle those controversies, plus the economic impact and the lessons which we can learn from IKEA's transformation. So IKEA has huge initiatives. They have they have multifaceted approach, and they have a lot of initiatives and ongoing, and they have achieved also. But I'm going to focus on two very major, some major contributors here only because of the time constraint. It's very difficult to capture each and everything here. So, as you know, IKEA is a world-renowned Swedish home, is a furnishing giant, And they are leading the change in transforming traditional business model into sustainable ones. They have a very bold commitment to becoming 100% circular by 2030. IKEA is reshaping how products are designed, manufactured, and consumed. And by integrating the circular economy principles into its operations, the company aims to reduce waste and promote sustainable living and inspire the customers to adopt eco-friendly practices. So as you see, the action itself is speaking, and this is what few have just put the pictures on what they are actually initiatives they are taking, and their ambition itself is to go beyond the net zero, and they want to make a positive impact for people and the planet. So let's dive in. So IKEA's GHG targets and carbon mitigation strategy. So one, like if you see, I have made a graph here also. So their one very important target is that they want to achieve 50% GHG reduction by FY30. That is from the baseline, which is the FY16 baseline year, and absolute GHG emissions across the entire IKEA value chain. And this is what is depicted in the graph here, that from the FY16, they want to go down to 50% by FY30 of the value chain. And they have already achieved 30% reduction by 2024. And they want to achieve 100% renewable electricity in operations by FY25. They want to reach net zero emissions by FY50, and that too without any offset. And how they are going to achieve? They have three main areas, that is by reducing greenhouse gas emissions, by removing and storing carbon, that is carbon sequestering, and going beyond IKEA, which we are going to discuss in details when we go down into the further slides. And what I mean by not having offset is that absolute net zero means an absolute reduction of at least 90% of full value chain emissions without using carbon offsets, and neutralizing the remaining 10% of emissions by removing and storing carbon from the atmosphere. So their strategy obviously includes investing in renewables, sustainable sourcing, a circular economy, and EV logistics, all aligned with science-based targets validated by the SBTi. So their main focus areas are that they want to focus on climate action and circularity, that is refuse, refurbish, remanufacture, recycle, by which they are going to prolong the product life cycle and the product life. Those companies also phasing out the single-use plastics and product packaging by 2028 and transitioning into recyclable materials. They're also focusing on the healthy and sustainable living. That is, IKEA promotes eco-friendly living by providing affordable, energy-efficient products designed to encourage responsible consumption. Their focus is on making sustainability accessible to all. They are also focusing on innovation, which is very, very important. They're investing in renewable energy technology, material science, and regenerative agriculture, and many more initiatives like that. And as Sir said yesterday, this was a new term and understanding from me, and it was not very clear yesterday, but today I understand when I was reading IKEA. So their focus is just transition. That is, they are supporting vulnerable communities, small entities, and workers impacted by the climate change. And that's what they say, that the transition must be fair, and we must ensure that the shift to net zero includes people, jobs, and communities. And just not one more thing I want to highlight is that they're very much committed to the Paris Agreement to align with the like not increasing the earth temperature by 1.5 more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. So what are the actions taken to mitigate emissions? There are many actions, but few important ones which I've highlighted here is that the key actions taken was, as I said, They have used better material, that is, they have refurbished, repurposing, and renovating existing buildings with the better material. They're phasing out fossil fuels and striving towards 100% renewable energy, that is, electricity, heating, cooling, and fuels across the IKEA value chain by 2030. They are offering more plant-based options in their restaurants. They're increasing investments in assets classes that have a lower carbon footprint. They're engaging with suppliers, which is very important, and we will discuss also that to get emission reduction targets. Then they're retrofitting units with renewable heating and cooling. They're developing circular services to enable customers to prolong the life of products. And they are trying to achieve more than 90% of home deliveries made by the zero emission vehicles by 2028. 0.5 euros for renewables, wind, solar, heat pumps, back and resale programs, which we are going to discuss again. Pre-owned, just to give you an idea, what is pre-owned is that it is a channel where a customer can sell to the another IKEA customer through their channel. And this is where they are actually helping circular economy. And plus, you can also give back to IKEA the old furnitures or any product you have taken from IKEA. Just to give you the gist that in FY 2024, they have quoted that buyback was operating in 28 markets and the service grew by 15% with over 260K customers bringing in 495K pieces of furniture. During the Buyback Friday campaign alone, an alternative to Black Friday sales, almost 55K IKEA products were returned to stores for resale. So you can imagine the volume. So 100% sustainable sourcing sustainable sourcing is also a very, very important aspect of their carbon emission mitigation. And they have already achieved 100% sustainable sourcing of wood and cotton. And they're aiming by 2030, all the material used in the products are expected to be either renewable or recyclable. Plus, they have more than 2,500 plus EVs for last mile delivery. And Scope 2 emissions have already gone down by 87.5% since FY 2016. And then electrification and biofuels replacing fossil logistics. So that is one of the actions they have taken. These are few more actions, a little more explanation of what I have already spoken there. So I was saying the last mile delivery, which means that they are going into using cargo bikes, hydrogen trucks, which is actually localized and phased out, like it is phased because it also depends on the availability of the hydrogen trucks in those areas or the countries. So you would be happy to know that 8 countries have already reached 100% zero emission home deliveries in at least one city. So naming them, like I've already listed, like China, Croatia, Finland, in these countries, at least one city, they have achieved 0% emission from home deliveries. Then their goal is to actually have full renewable operations plus Scope 2 neutrality by FY 30. And that's why IKEA has joined the RE100 initiative. And they have committed to 100% renewable electricity globally in its retail stores, warehouses, distribution centers, offices, and factories. And 100% renewable electricity is already achieved in 13 key production countries. And total of 93 additional factories or suppliers achieved 100% renewable electricity in FY24, bringing the total to 491, which constitutes 40% of their direct suppliers. So IKEA has already invested more than euros 4.25 billion into renewable generation, and the total renewable energy commitment is 7.5 billion euros by 2030. IKEA has significantly further on this renewable energy, they have expanded its renewable electricity program. They have added 14 new countries to its initiative, and this expansion brings the total number of markets covered to 27, which represents over 91% of CO2 emissions from electricity used in IKEA's production. Now, I was talking about the pre-owned expansion. So what they have done is across Europe, they have opened these pre-owned this thing, which is peer-to-peer digital marketplace. And this is launched by Inca Group, which is IKEA's largest franchisee, and it allows customers to buy and sell used IKEA furniture directly with one another using a user-friendly platform. And this is enriched by IKEA's technology and branding. And this helps in extending the product life cycle. It reduces the waste and builds a more sustainable business model. So one very important aspect which I've seen in IKEA is, though they have a very complex supply chain and they are situated globally in more than 50 countries, they have actually also focused on the supplier decarbonization tracking, which they have enforced. And all the suppliers, they have to follow the I-Way, which is the IKEA way. And there's a code of conduct which has been shared to all of them, and there's a pamphlet given to them, and there is a stringent environmental, social, and ethical standards set. So, which is actually must, basic, advanced, excellent. This is what they called. And IKEA actually collects this detailed emissions data annually from logistics providers, including fuel types, volumes, and models, and they prefer the GLEC framework. So since renewable energy integration is a very important part of the carbon emission reduction of IKEA, I just wanted to bring more attention to this and what they have actually done. So basically, it'll be more of repetition, but just to give you more detailed of this thing is that as of January 2025, I've already told you that they have invested more than 4.2 billions in renewable energy productions, and their facilities owned generate renewable energy power equivalent to the annual consumption of over 1.47 million European households. And they have invested in 49 wind farms in 17 countries and 26 solar parks in 9 countries, which are operational, and they're still committed and still ongoing. They have also a battery storage project ongoing. So by 2030, IKEA would be investing or committing to invest more than euro 6.5 billion to produce 15 terawatt hours of a year, marked an additional euro 1 billion for investments in technologies. So there are few specific acquisitions also they have done, which I'm not reading out, but it is there. And then they have also, like, on-site and operational efficiency investments have also been done by them. So like, as I said, they are also focusing on the buildings. There are specific buildings like retrofitting, renewable heating, cooling, energy efficiency upgrades. And they're ensuring that all the new IKEA facilities, they are built with renewable HVAC systems. So the IKEA was also involved in some controversies, not very much on chemicals, but there were controversies on the formaldehyde and the chemical leakage from the plants and all. So I just wanted to bring that what they have done on maintaining safety, elimination, and global advocacy on chemicals. So they have actually phased out, like in a phased out PFAS, and it is in progress. So since 2009, they have gradually removal of PFAS is happening. So 2016, they fully phased out in textiles, and in 2024, they launched the PFAS-free cookware. And by 2026, they are aiming that they will completely eliminate from cookware and bakeware. Now, if you see IKEA industry, what chemical risk management they have done is that they are tracking 4,200 plus chemical products tracked across the factories. They are doing risk assessments, and their goal is to actually reduce the hazardous chemicals, prevent high risk workplaces, and they use precautionary principles also. They have also tried to phase out the formaldehyde. And IKEA aims to match or beat natural wood emission levels. And in September 24, formaldehyde, they have banned in paper foils and laminates. And temporary exceptions are already there because Poland flood damage was there. So they have also participated in global advocacy and recognition, which I have just listed here for the know-how. So one other important aspect which you remember I have spoken in the earlier slides is that not only emitting the carbon, like they stopping the reducing the carbon emission, they are also focusing on the sequestering, removing and storing carbon. How they are doing it? By forestry, agriculture, and products. And what they have like few of the initiatives which they have taken is like their sustainability reports actually says that in Vietnam they have invested more than 100 million euros for the carbon storage investment since 2019. And in Vietnam, they have started one project where acacia plantation is there and more than like 1,100 hectare managed by smallhold farmers. And they have tree rotations and more biomass plus higher soil organic carbon. Plus, they have been invested into Hugh Agriculture University for the, as I said, innovation to study how they can still sequester carbon. Then they have also focused on the regenerative agriculture, like they have launched pilot plan like projects and beef, cotton, wool, coffee under assessment. They are there, and they aim to actually enhance the biodiversity, soil health, and carbon storage. But the challenge obviously is there because regenerative agriculture is costly, and scaling these will require partnerships to address their financial impact. Plus, there will be operating costs and farming communities would be there. So summary points is that IKEA's carbon storage model integrates forest management, product design, and agricultural innovation. The results from Vietnam show higher carbon retention plus livelihood improvement, and they have long-term approach. They're following holistic land use plus product life cycle thinking. So as I said, one more aspect was the focus area was that they want to go beyond IKEA. What do you mean by beyond IKEA carbon footprint? For them, it means it refers to initiatives outside IKEA's direct emission reductions, but it is tied to its value chain, like products, suppliers, sourcing. And these actions contribute to the broader systemic transformation. And what are the key initiatives they have taken? One is that biofuels in ocean shipping. So they have avoided 49,164 tons of carbon or dioxide emissions. Sorry. 95% increase in biofuel usage year on year. And they have used book and claim system to fund zero emission fuel use elsewhere in the network. But these are not counted in their net zero goals because actually they are not using biofuels in their fleets currently in most all of them. They are focusing on the climate resilient investments, like they have invested in new school foods and Nordic sea farm and exploring marine materials for future use. So plus they have partnerships and advocacy, like they have advocated for fossil fuel phase out biodiversity at COP29, COP16. Plus they have supported Mission 2025 Global Biodiversity Framework, and they have participated in different forums. So this is I took from the sustainability report, and I really wanted to show you, which is very detailed IKEA climate footprint. And if you can see here, their major contribution comes from the material. So if you see in FY 2016, how much was the contribution? In FY 24, how much is the reduction? And what is the target in FY 30? Then again, if you see their second highest contributor was the products used at home. So if you see what was at the baseline, how much was the contribution emission in FY 24, how much it has reduced by 54%, and FY 30, they target 70%. So if you see similarly category wise, like food ingredients, production, transport and logistics, then retail stores and operations, home deliveries, commuting, business travel, and product end of life and others. So this is very detailed breakup they have actually given here. So this is actually, if you see the total IKEA climate footprint decreased by 1.1 million tons of carbon equivalent in absolute terms compared to FY 23, which is a reduction of 5%. this is just, I wanted to show you that the major emission comes from scope 3, and scope 1 and 2 is drastically very low compared to what they have, scope 3, and that's why they have been focusing a lot on their supply chain. So this I'm not going through. This I just wanted to give you some numbers, which we can actually go later on also, we can go through it. So what are the milestones they have already achieved, which I have shown you in the form of graph, but few highlights I wanted to give you is that renewable energy in IKEA operation increased to 71%. That is from 67% in FY23, with renewable electricity reaching 81%. 100% renewable electricity achieved in 93 additional factories, bringing the total of 491. This is a gist which we have discussed before also. They have reduction in foam use for mattresses by 20% through alternative comfort and design solutions. They have expansion of Trixig product range to improve repair and prolong product lifespan. 90% of IKEA wood sourced are from their FSC certified or recycled sources. They have introduced paper-based bags for furniture fittings, reducing the plastic consumption by 14,000 tons annually. Plus, they have expanded the plant-rich food offerings with hybrid meat plant protein patty introduced in Sweden. So if you see in FY24, the IKEA climate footprint is estimated to be 21.3 million tons carbon equivalent in absolute terms. So these are few like a lot of other details which I'm not going through, but these are the sustainability highlights. They definitely faced challenge when they were on this transition journey, but two major challenges which I feel when I read through, I want to highlight is definitely it was hard to abate emissions in freight, shipping, transportation, and logistics. The reason being they were using fossil fuel powered shipping fleets. Major reason is that cleaner fuel is very nascent, they're very expensive, and it is not always available on the routes where it is actually required. And that's why if you require this, I have said, book and claim method they have used. So what they are doing is that they have tied up with the Hapag-Lloyd to decarbonize the container shipments which are originating from Asia. But this is just partial because they use biofuel, which is totally not carbon emission free. But it is better than the conventional marine fuel which they have used. Result of IKEA, this reduction would be around 1 lakh tons. Then the IKEA goal is actually to reduce the GHG emissions from the product transportation by 70% by 2030 and only use zero emission heavy duty vehicles and ocean vehicles by 2040. Plus, they have also become the member of ZEMBA, which is the Zero Emission Maritime Buyers Alliance, and we'll see how it goes further. The second challenge which I feel is that if you see, the total material recycling rate at IKEA industry was 76%, which is a decrease from 81% in 2023. The reason being that scalability, they have a very complex and extensive supply chain. So complexity of scaling circular practices globally requires extensive collaboration across supply chains. And integrating the recycled material into product process takes time. Plus, design applications are required to ensure consistent quality. Plus, some recycled materials need a small blend of virgin materials to maintain their properties, and some substitutes are still under development or not readily available. Fiberboard is the key material for IKEA furniture, but its recyclability is still a challenge. And achieving 100% recycled metals remains still a significant challenge because of its global demand. It is infeasible, there's high and there's limited availability of scrap materials also. But they have definitely worked towards resolving it. How? They are working at different levels. They have a product full cycle like LCA for the product. Then they are working on innovation, on making new materials, production processes, and supply chains to find new alternatives like bio-based foam. Then another example is that they are testing new setups to collect, sort, and recycle textile waste for use in new textiles. And in FY24, they have already joined forces with other significantly they're increasing and securing a reliable supply of recycled materials with suitable material properties, which is higher strength and durability. And they have set up fireboat to fireboat recycling line also in Poland. And they're trying to use less material for the same function, selecting the right material for the right application, exploring process, enhancing changing their process for recycled materials. So every good story definitely has a controversy. That means you're successful. So they did have some controversies, and but they had there was a Brazil deforestation case. The supplier was actually penalized for that, but IKEA investigated and they suspended the purchases from the supplier to enhance the forest traceability protocols. They have enhanced that. Then zero emission goal rollback. IKEA revised its 2025 delivery goal, publicly explaining delays and reinforcing longer term commitment. Then greenwashing concerns were also there. So IKEA responded by releasing transparent data, SBTi validations, and increasing disclosures. So what was the economic impacts of IKEA's climate and sustainability strategy? Obviously, there was a cost efficiency from energy and emission reductions because of lower electricity costs, long-term energy price stability. They have made climate investments like energy, supply chain, digital data, zero emission deliveries, which will likely deliver net positive RO by 2030, which is my assumption basis whatever achievements they have made, but IKEA has not disclosed what is their ROI, which is based on with improved operating margins, customer retention, consumer and brand value growth increases. Plus, investor trust is also there because lower capital cost, because they're easy compliant, and portfolio, it appeals. A very important one is supplier decarbonization. So, future cost avoidance is there by that. CBAM, carbon taxes, resilient pricing and sourcing, lower risk of regulatory penalties, supplier disruption, and non compliance costs. So, what do we learn from IKEA? It's transformation. So, IKEA's journey towards building a circular economy actually provides a valuable lessons for businesses which are aiming to integrate sustainability into their operations with complex supply chain specifically. So you have to design with circularity in mind. Products should be durable, repairable, and recyclable, but effort. They should be also um, business viable. You should empower consumers, offering programs like buyback. Schemes encourages customers to participate in sustainable practices. You should invest in infrastructure like recycling facilities, renewable energy projects essential for scaling circular solutions, set ambitious goals, and collaborate across stakeholders. So, IKEA's shift to a circular model shows that business can reduce waste, support sustainability, and still thrive economically. So, thank you, and thanks for bearing with me.
I think you have beaten Majar today then. It was,
Time-wise.
by the way, it was well done, quite in depth as well. Very good job. Very good job. Only problem
Thank
was long, as the
long.
Majar one. So we need to find a way out, and I can understand both Toyota and IKEA has a history, and hence it is very difficult to fit it into shorter and sharper version. Otherwise,
Yeah, I've actually eliminated so many of the initiatives.
I can see few of the seat you didn't talk about even, but
Hmm.
let's see from others as well that how they have optimized the scenario. We have three more speaker on IKEA today, so everybody is speaking on IKEA. So let's listen in. Good job done. Uh, the areas
Thank
of
you.
improvement I will not suggest right now because you have a good oratory skills. So those facts and figures has been hidden very well, and presentation was to the point. So it's good job. Okay, but we will come back to you after I listen to other two. Yeah, we have already lost a lot of time. So let's go ahead and see others version. Who is going next? Mayurji,
Okay, sir. I'll take up.
and then Smriti, and then Jyoti, and then I don't know who all.
The screen visible, sir.
Sir, I
Yes.
have very small one.
It's okay. Doesn't matter. Everybody has their own style. So it's perfect.
Okay, fine.
क्या लगाया है इन्होंने? पोस्टर लगाया आइकिया हिंदी वाला। नाइस।
और हम लोग सोच रहे थे ना, वो पहले आता था एक आइडिया जो बदल दे आपकी दुनिया, तो मयूर जी ने सही में वो आई किया।
Nice job, Mayur.
Okay,
She started with windmill, you started with Mumbai mill. Very good.
fine. So, my today's good evening all to all. My today's session presentation is on IKEA's climate action development, progress reporting, and mitigation strategy. IKEA is one of the leading global giant in furniture manufacturer, retailer, uh, to commercial, industrial, and uh, domestic use. They have operating in 50 countries with approximately 445 stores globally. IKEA has established a strong commitment to sustainability because the major product used is wood, which has an impact on carbon emission. So IKEA's extensive reach enhances capacity to enact significant climate action into all its aspects of its operations. We'll go to the next slide. Okay. What I'm showing you here is IKEA's plan to the climate positive by 2030. It cuts its transport footprint by 9%. The action development plan, it reduces climate footprint for the first time. IKEA globally reduces 1.4 million tons of carbon emissions. IKEA launches new sustainability products which has a longer lifespan, phasing out fossil fuels and striving towards 100% renewable energy like electricity, heating, cooling, and fuels across the IKEA value chain by 2030. To increase the investments in asset classes that have a lower carbon footprint, and retrofitting units with renewable heating and cooling, engaging with the suppliers network to set emission reduction targets. The strategic approach into renewable energy integration, IKEA's investments in wind and solar. It operates 575 wind turbines and 21 solar parks with plans for further expansion, going into total renewable energy. Solar panels on retail sites, approximately 900,000 solar panels are installed across stores and warehouses, contributing significantly to operational energy needs, which is a major requirement. Customers' solar offerings, affordable solar panel solutions are available in various markets, enabling customers to adapt renewable energy at home. Energy independence goal by 2025, IKEA aims to produce more renewable energy than it consumes, striving for complete energy independence. Now, in sustainable sourcing, which is a critical component to IKEA's supply chain strategy. So, wood sourcing, over 98% of IKEA's wood is either certified by the Forest Stewardship Council, which is FSC, which basically controls the life cycle of the wood. What is basically known as the traceability link. The cotton sourcing, IKEA sources all its cotton from the Better Cotton Initiative or other sustainable sources, which has reduced water consumption by 50%. Plastic and packaging is phasing out single-use plastic in product packaging by 2028 and transitioning to recyclable material by using paper and other such materials for packaging purpose. Food sourcing, IKEA's plant-based food options have a significantly lower carbon footprint compared to traditional meat products. The results, it has achieved 100% sustainable sourcing for wood and cotton. By 2030, all materials used in its products are expected to be either renewable or recyclable. Here are some graphs which have taken from the net. The IKEA pledges to use only renewable and recycled materials by 2030. We can see from the left-hand side the graph, the vertical green line is for the major use is raw material, and the second highest is customer product use. On the right-hand side is the quantification of carbon emission and removal from forest, land, plant, and wood products. The circular economy practices initiatives aim to minimize waste and extend product life cycle, as Shraddha said, by reusing, refurbishing the products, by which extending the life cycle of the product. So furniture take-back programs, recycled materials in products, modular and repairable furnitures, and waste recycling. In waste recycling, 99% of waste generated from its operations are recycled. In results, in 2022, IKEA diverted over 1 million tons of waste from landfills through its circular practices. Products made with recycled materials accounted for approximately 25% of total sales in 2023. Now, transparency, IKEA issues annual sustainability reports and climate reports FY 23-24, covering its environmental, social, and governance, performance, and GHG emission trends. It participates in CDP climate surveys biannually and adheres to TCFD aligned climate risk and opportunity reporting. Regular reviews of climate policy alignments. For instance, the first Industry Association Climate Position Review in 23 following COP27 support declaration. Emission reduction of absolute greenhouse gas emissions by 10% across the value chain despite business growth. And investment in sustainability over 3 billion euros invested in climate positive initiatives. The customer engagement reached over 2 million households through solar solution programs promoting clean energy adoption. Here, the key challenges include achieving net zero emissions in transportation and logistics due to reliance on fossil fuel powered shipping fleets, which is a major concern. The complexity of scaling circular practices globally requires extensive collaboration across supply chains. Yes, the annual reporting, the FY24 highlights as of January 2025, the total climate footprint 21.3 metric ton carbon dioxide equivalent, down 5% versus in FY23 and 28% versus in FY16 baseline. The relative emissions upstream production and sourcing 9% per unit since FY16, downstream transport use 34% per unit since FY16. And in FY23 summary, climate footprint was 24.1 metric ton carbon dioxide equivalent, down by 12% since FY22 and 22% versus FY16. So leading actions included rollout of new bio-based glue, halving emissions from product use at home, nearly 50% reduction in plastic packaging, extended spare parts, and circular services. And broader financial indicators, INCA Group, which operates 90% of IKEA stores, reports a 30.1% reduction in climate footprint versus FY16, while revenue rose by 23.7%, showcasing decoupling of growth from emissions. The significant investments by FY24, 4.2 billion euro invested in renewables since 2009, aiming for 7.5 billion euros by 2030 overall in energy transition. The key takeaways are environmental and economic synergies, scalable impact, transparency drives trust, innovation through sustainability. These are the 4 takeaways. The summary I am mentioning is Equals Climate Program is a robust science-based strategy anchored in ambitious GHG reduction and net zero commitments. With progress clearly measured each year, it combines operational decarbonization, circular economy models, renewable energy leadership, and carbon leadership. Importantly, IKEA places emphasis not only on mitigation its own footprint, but also shifting the broader value chain and contributing to societal reductions through advocacy and partnerships. I've taken references from this, what Sir had shared. So with this, my presentation is
Good.
complete.
Very good, very good. I think the end was very well done. Showing the references does make a difference.
Okay,
So good stuff.
thank you.
Short, sweet, and to the point. I think you have not gone lot of. You might have done a lot of research, but I think you are very sharp on your presentation. So good job done.
The research work was, I was not unable to go deep into it due to time constraints, but whatever was manageable, I tried to, pluck and pick and put it over there.
Perfect. Good job done, Mayurji. Let's see Richa's and then Smruti as well. And then we will go to next. Go ahead, Richa.
I do not have much to speak, but I will start. I will jump onto this slide.
Whatever you will speak, it will be, very precious
so,
for
but
us.
it will be repetition.
Mm.
So I'm directly
But
jump.
start from beginning. Start from your start, doctor.
Okay, sure. So this is the introduction. IKEA is a multinational founded in Sweden that design and sells ready-to-assemble furniture. It is operating in 50 countries, 445 stores globally. IKEA has built an empire that now 41 stores in 49 markets around the world. Major concerns in IKEA: circularity, material and innovation, climate target and progress. In 2013, IKEA emitted a staggering 28 million tons of greenhouse gases. The two primary materials that IKEA use are wood and cotton. Sustainability highlights of 2024. The major mitigation plan for IKEA is: IKEA has made substantial investment in renewable energy, aiming to power its operation with sustainable energy sources. IKEA has invested heavily in solar and wind energy projects. The company has installed solar panels on many of its location and distribution center. IKEA invested in sustainable forestry and they are working with organizations like Global Forest Watch. Currently, IKEA diverts around 90% of its overall operational waste from landfills and 60% of IKEA's products are made from renewable materials. IKEA has several recycling programs, including mattresses and bulbs. It has launched the foamless sofa, Den Hult, that uses thermo-bonded felt made from fabric waste. 100% of the cotton and wood used is sustainably sourced. These are the major components in IKEA business. In 2017, that number rose to over 75%, and within the next couple of years, it will be 100%. They phased out plastic bags in 2007. As a member of Science Based Target Initiative, IKEA is also involved in tiny scale agriculture. They started selling an indoor garden that can grow food all year round. It eliminated single-use plastic products from its in-store restaurant. It has also developed alternative forms of packaging, including a fully biodegradable variant made from mushrooms. The mycelium fungi packaging is manufactured by Ecovative, and their packaging is part of IKEA's wider initiative to reduce waste and increase recycling. IKEA has set a standard and expectation for IKEA business relationship by the IB. It is the supplier code of conduct. Circular economy is a part of IKEA business. Here, like furniture take back program, recycled material in products, modular and repairable furniture, waste recycling are the part of circular economy practices. Outcomes in year 2024, total emissions were 5% lower than in the previous year and 28% lower than 2016. The reduction in 2024 is attributed to continued increase in renewable energy, improved energy efficiency, and movements towards electrification of transport. In June 2024, climate goals were validated by the Science Based Target Initiative. Delivering on the goals include focusing on phasing out on-site coal, oil, and oil-based fossil fuels and renewable energy. As materials stand for almost half of the IKEA climate footprint and also impact biodiversity and water, working hard to develop products with a lower footprint and increase the share of recycled material. In 2022, IKEA diverted over 1 million ton of waste from landfills through its circular practices. Products made with recycled material accounted for approximately 25% of total sales in 2023. Please excuse me, it is typo 1. Thank you.
Good, to the point, sharp. Finish the story. Wonderful. Dr. Richa, well done. Well
Thank you.
done. Okay, let's hear from Smruti without any further delay.
Okay, sir. So just give me a minute.
Shruti, should I go ahead? I have a very small presentation.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Jyoti, you can also go ahead.
Yes,
No
I
worry.
think I have an exhaustive one, so Jyoti can go.
Yes, I have a very small one, so we can.
All right, go ahead.
Actually, I have a very restricted environment in the office, so I'm not able to prepare a presentation. Is my screen visible?
No.
You
Oh,
are
no.
also not visible. Screen is also not visible.
I'm here only. I'm trying to share my screen actually. Now it's visible.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes, now we.
Okay. So I use technology for a quick presentation because I didn't get time much. So my presentation is on Denmark. Denmark as a climate leader. This presentation covers 7 sections, a small sections, but I collate here. First section is yesterday we listened a lot about Denmark, but I want to start from the triggers. Why they feel that they need to take actions for the climate change. So major motivation for their action was legal mandate. They make a mandate 70% reduction in emission by 2030 and aim for net zero emission by 2045. Moral responsibility, they all take it as a moral responsibility. In the Denmark highlights its historical emissions and the importance of global justice in tackling climate change. Public also supported them. 74% public see this as a major global issue and advocating for the immediate action. One of the major trigger was climate vulnerability. Geography vulnerability, Denmark's low lying coastal area faces risk from sea level rise and storm surges, necessitating urgent adoption measures. Second challenge was energy security challenges. In 1970, oil crisis highlighted Denmark's energy vulnerabilities, prompting them to shift into the renewable energy investments. Urgency for religions. Denmark aims to enhance its energy independence and build resilience through investment in wind power and district heating. Coming to next slide. What was their successes towards the net zero? Achievement for the Denmark is greenhouse reduction. They achieved 44.7% net GHG reduction from 2005 to 2023. with ambitious targets set for the future. This is based on the 1999 investment in carbon solution. They significantly make investment in carbon removal efforts, including bioenergy and afforestations. Political consensus, strong public trust and political consensus have facilitated substantial progress towards meeting legally binding targets. Now, quickly coming to their fossil fuels reduction strategy. In 2024, Denmark plans to end fossil fuel production by 2050, with coal uses in district heating nearly eliminated. 2025 reduction achieved, they achieved the reductions, and their focus on the alternatives, 100%, a strong push for 100% biomethane in heating by 2030. Challenges it faces, decarbonization pace. The pace required for decarbonization need to catch up with decades of process within a short time frame. Sector-wise emission from transportation sector continue to rise with the car dependency proving problematic. Agriculture emissions, livestock emissions remain stubbornly high, posing challenges for their agriculture sector. Their failures, area of concern, that again, as I mentioned, transport emissions and biomass dependencies and some policy gaps also. Their strategic outlook, strengthening policy, Denmark enhances sectoral policies, especially in transport and agriculture to achieve target. They put some taxes, road tax also to increase the clean gases, reducing biomass resilience, diversifying clean energy sources while decreasing biomass dependency is crucial for sustainability. International collaboration, Denmark aims to foster global collaboration on climate innovation, technology, and deployment. Key measures which are still underway, CO2 tax implementation, CO2 tax on agriculture is planned, aiming for 70 to 20 ton of CO2 by 2035 to incentivize reduction, renewable expansions, ongoing effort to include the expansion of renewables, electrifications, carbon captures, and storage projects. Circulation economic initiatives, law prompting a circular economy are already in place to enhance sustainability in various sectors. Conclusions is there. The model is characterized by legally enforced, morally driven, and publicly supported initiatives aimed at achieving ambitious climate goals despite challenges. Their outlook for 2025 and their milestones, if you can see, they are on track till 2025, and by 2030, their efforts seems achievable with efforts, and 2050, they will likely be net zero. The key success factors were agriculture reforms, long use range, technology, deployment, policy. Follow through are vital for success. Thank you. That's it, sir.
Her slides were really good, isn't it? Too clean, too neat, minimalistic design. Very good. So everybody has something which they have brought unique, and also the flow was very nice. So less material, yet very, very to the point. Good stuff. So in the shorter one, I think you were not shortest, but you did justice to it. Good job done.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and please appreciate everyone. When I'm not saying nobody is clapping specifically, अजय तो किसी पे भी clap नहीं कर रहा है. वो छोड़ के चले गए, right? इसीलिए नहीं कर रहा है. Anyway, let's do with Smriti. Smriti, go ahead, and today we will end with your session. So, eagerly waiting.
Sure, sir.
वो प्रेजेंटेशन करते वक्त ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि स्लाइड्स कम है, किसी का ज़्यादा है. एक फेमस जोक है, इंडिया में एक स्टूडेंट को पीएचडी अवार्ड हुआ था, उसका पीएचडी सिर्फ 25 पेज का था। तो दैट डजंट मीन कि कम स्लाइड्स में स्टफ नहीं है। सबको पॉजिटिव सोचना चाहिए।
सब में से कुछ ना कुछ सीखने को मिलता है।
Absolutely, and that is what we are here
One
for.
slide.
Well said. करने से कुछ ना कुछ सीखने के लिए मिलता है, उसी के लिए तो आए हैं इस सेशन में। वेरी गुड। यस स्मृति, गो अहेड।
Yes, so before I begin, I want to thank Vaidyanathan ji and uh, Pooja ji for like helping me out because I was not aware of the presentation. Aaj hi last minute pata chala and I tried to uh, like do as much as I can. So yes, so IKEA, I don't need like anyone needs the introduction. So uh, it's one of the largest furniture market player, and there are many other players also in the market. I have also tried to cover them a bit just to showcase the performance. So some of the key strategies which IKEA had actually incorporated, like we have discussed this before also, renewable energy integration, sustainable sourcing, and circular economy practices. So it has invested over like 3 billion euros in renewable energy, but it's not like 100% renewable so far, but that's what they are aiming for. And sustainable sourcing, of course, like 100% of its wood comes from FSC certified sourcing, and circular economy practices is quite huge in terms of IKEA because considering the wider and complex value chain and supply chain network it has. But which actually I mean, there are many strategies which IKEA has actually implemented. One of the strategies which actually struck me was the design and de-assembly strategy, which is very resource efficient. Plus, it's also kind of, it has some sort of carbon offsetting inclination. So one of the strategies was de-assembly strategy using platform modular storage, which is one of IKEA's unique product, wherein assemblage and de-assemblage can happen over the instructions. And we do get to see such kind of products these days available on Amazon and the market in totality. However, because of these strategies, it has been able to reduce its GHG emissions by 10% across its global value chain, despite the business spike that it actually has witnessed. And it has also achieved 95% waste recovery rates in pilot programs. So I thought of, kind of visiting strategy and identify what were the pros and cons, just to see this, you know, uh, scale of scope as well as scale of economy, so that the entire comparisons can be done with respect to bombs and as well as the again scale of scope. So yeah, it operates with 575 wind turbines and 21 solar parks and has installed more than 900,000 solar panels. Affordability is something which is definitely their focus areas, and they want to go like 100% renewable with wind and solar combined. Pros is that 80% of the operations are under their control in a way because of the renewable energy control that they exercise. And they have invested a huge amount for this practice. However, some of the cons are like full energy independence still remains like logistically and technically a challenge because they cannot have like complete 100% dependency there. And second thing is like even if they're investing today, the payback period for renewable is never like immediate. It has to be monitored and the assessment has to be made year on year basis. So the investment requires like constant attention, and there has to be constant reinvestments with the technological upgrades. So sustainable sourcing is something which I wanted to highlight here. We have been talking about some of the strategies which again, there are many strategies actually that they have undertaken, but I wanted to highlight some of them. 90% of the wood is FSC certified, which is Forest Stewardship Council. So there are three kinds of uh, like certifications, three categories of certifications when it comes to FSC certification. I just wanted to share with everyone. So one of them is FSC certified, which means that the wood is actually sourced from those forests which have been identified by FSC Council. So that is something which kind of promises of very good quality of wood with really good carbon dating, and it requires like lesser amount of water. So since this industry is something wherein water is very crucial uh, from resource point of view, so having good quality of water actually helps in optimizing the usage of water, less quantity of water, and also at the same time it needs lesser quantity of water. So any amount of water that is supplied, with that one can actually manage to get the wooden work done. 100% of cotton is sustainably sourced, and there is also like towards the uh, further slides, I'll also showcase like not just cotton, there is also wool, coffee, and various other materials that they have been eyeing on and they have been using actually. Single-use plastic packaging, and it promotes plant-based foods to reduce carbon footprints, and buyback from customer was like one of the really good strategies. So pros we all know, like these are actually in favor of decreasing carbon footprint. Cons, supply chain sustainability can be really hard to monitor, uh, considering the complexity, and cost of sourcing sustainable materials at times become higher because we just have a fixed and very fewer suppliers there, very fewer sources. They may or may not be in the proximity, so that again the transportation cost adds to carbon footprint. Circular economy practices, of course there are take back programs for used products. 99% of waste from operations is recycled. One thing I wanted to highlight here, which I actually like discovered while going through their 2024 CSR report, is that if material recycling isn't possible, then the fractions of materials which are not recyclable, they are sent for energy recovery. So at least in some or the other way, they're trying to kind of uh, put in practice circular economy. And that actually happens within the IKEA value chain. On the right-hand side, if you look at the diagram, so this green and black circle, this circular motion, which is given here in the graph format, that happens within the IKEA value chain. So outside the IKEA value chain, which is there, they go on practicing suppliers, I mean, code of conduct and ethics, and even scrutiny for suppliers. And that's how they try to manage their stakeholders also. So I wanted everybody to just have a look at the graph, which is on the right hand side. It's an exhaustive thing because if you start talking on it, then a lot of processes involved. However, the cons which are associated with this circular economic practices, one of them is scaling circular practices across the globe, again, is very complex because IKEA is operating across the globe in different countries, and not every country is that sensitized with this kind of practices. And even if they are, not everyone has that kind of technology. So hence the customer adoption for furniture, return programs may also vary. Customer awareness about circular economy may also vary, which can again not be one of the drivers for them to follow circular economy that stringently in that particular geography. So transparency and progress reporting. So they definitely publish annual sustainability report as per GRI 2021 guidelines, and they track and disclose emissions again for scope 2 and scope 3. They are trying their best. Scope 2 80% covered, scope 3 they're trying to have control within the internal value chain. However, there are again like since the value chain and the supply chain is very complex, hence 100% attainment of the goal seems slightly impractical here. High transparency demands for consistent performance and data accuracy. So that is also one of the challenges, because IKEA doesn't have certain, I mean, control over the entire process. So for the gap of that particular process, they won't have reliable data in place. Hence, it increases the risks of reputational damage in case of any shortfalls and delays. And there has been reputational damage also. IKEA has been kind of accused of greenwashing. That also I'll showcase. But before we proceed, this was like in a nutshell about what was there in the case study. Uh, Diving in actually begins now. So I tried comparing it with Indian furniture market. I kind of extracted this report and stat from Modern Intelligence. It keeps releasing a lot of research reports. So like you can see here, Indian furniture market, major players on the right hand side. Right bottom, there are Godrej Interior, Nilkamal, Zuari, IKEA and Durian, right? So some of the key highlights of the reports are like by application, home furniture led with 62% of India's furniture market share in 2024. 62% by application, office furniture, 78% it's growing. But by material, wood is held at 61% of India's furniture market in 2024. So why I'm talking about wood is like, yeah. So wood maintained at 61% of the Indian furniture market is actually rooted in cultural affinity. So a lot of geographies, I mean, consumers from different geographies, they may not vouch completely or maybe partly for wooden furniture, considering that aluminum and powder coated steels, they have like longer life. Their PLC is higher. They are scratch resistant, easy to maintain, and all of that. They may not vouch for wooden furniture often, but India vouches for that, and some countries in global south and uh, global Asia also, they actually vouch for furniture market, sorry, wooden furniture, uh, only because of the cultural affinity and also because of the availability of such resources, right? So if you look at this graph, this is actually something which I have pulled from IKEA CSR report. So you can see that wood forestry is one of the major resources for IKEA, and it's actually it has supply chain for wood from these many countries over here: Croatia, Poland, Lithuania, China, Sweden, Germany, Romania, France, Finland, likewise. So hence, um, this reminds me of my visit to one of the green schools in Indonesia, wherein this entire structure was actually wood based, bamboo based actually. So one question which I always had when I was visiting that facility was like, we are being natural. I mean, we are trying to, okay, so we are claiming that we are supporting nature and trying to integrate nature-based products by, again, harming the nature and cutting the woods. So kind of, contradiction to carbon offsetting. So,
Dichotomy.
sorry,
That's our dichotomy practice, right?
exactly, sir. So I'll talk about it someday. Uh, like it's a huge discussion. I'm still having that discussion with them and UNESCO for that. But this is something, again, um, those industries and facilities or products or any kind of services that involve wood as their major product, major hero component, then for them to justify this becomes very difficult. Hence, it becomes the responsibility of such organizations and brands to, look at the measures which can help in further curbing the impacts and keeping the carbon emissions within their control. So this is the reason why I wanted to showcase this, external global furniture market and comparison with India and comparison with IKEA's resources. So I've also done a bit of comparison here for sustainable strategies of major players. I couldn't actually go beyond these three. So IKEA definitely it's there, Nilkamal and Zuari. So strategy area, renewable and clean operations we know about IKEA. For Nilkamal, they have been able to achieve 26% of renewable energy usage, again, by harnessing wind energy and energy efficient machinery. So they are targeting on the 5-star rated machinery. So that is there. For Zuari, it's basically for co-generation of plants selling, and again, they're looking at ethanol-based renewable fuel. And circular economy for Nilkamal, we know about IKEA that it is actually into recycling of materials and I mean, not the linearity, but the circularity of the waste also, and take back programs with the customers. With Kamal, they recycle 100 tons of packaging, exploring 100% post-consumer recycled polymer. With Zuari zero effluent chemical plant, that's what something which they are promoting, but I need to check whether it's just a promotion or a greenwashing uh, kind of bent. Vermicomposting of biodegradable waste, community and stakeholders. So we can see that CSR focus on education, healthcare. That's what Nilkamal has been working on. Education, sanitation, and livelihoods. That's something Zuari is focusing on. So why they are focusing on community and stakeholder engagement is because this industry is land intensive, labor intensive, and also resource intensive. So to have three of them tied up together in a balanced way, it's very essential that the stakeholder engagement and the community is balanced in a peaceful manner. Transparency and audits, like IKEA, Nilkamal is also complying with Terry Greha and Green Go Fold, then Green Pro CE certification for CSR reporting. For Zuari, they're also reporting their CSR every year. Supply and scaling, all of them are, three of them are focusing on circular approaches. So, in a way, IKEA leads in renewable and circular economy based innovations. Neil Kamal shows progress in renewable usage with measurable community and environmental contributions, and Zuari is into clean operations. However, IKEA is not limited to that. After undergoing several reports related to IKEA, I could find out some fact sheets and some details. So this is again from their CSR report, where you can see that absolute emissions versus relative emissions that they have. So year over year comparisons they have done for the past 3 financial years, and so you can see that downstream related emissions has actually started declining. It's kind of their efforts in renewable scope 2 and scope 3 has actually started, blossoming here, especially for FY 2024. Not major difference during 22 and 23. And upstream related emissions. So like you can see, it has has an estimated reduction of 6%. So from 2023. So that is something which I wanted to share. After going through this is like achieving net zero in transportation and logistics is very difficult. And it's really challenging and financially and technologically also demanding, because any movement on road for carrying any kind of container or any consignment, any movement equals to carbon emissions. So electrifying long haul trucking and shipping is difficult. Last mile connectivity with electric vehicles is still possible. But for the consignments, for the container trucks kind of vehicles, heavy duty vehicles, it's very difficult. However, IKEA has been trying to do that by trying to be very stringent with their supply chain network. But again, like we discussed in the previous slide, value chain and supply chain outside IKEA. So there is that's a place, that's a zone where IKEA doesn't have direct control. And again, scaling circular practices globally requires a lot of extensive collaborations, and it definitely has complexities, like we talked about the cultural angle also. So that again adds to the consumer demand. So that is one part, because scope 3 monitoring, scope 3 emissions still remains the biggest climate accounting challenges. But what, according to me, is still a huge challenge is the resource and packaging shift. So since IKEA is into furniture market, furniture business, so the packaging involves like over-dimensional packaging. Just like for the consignment, majority of them will be over-dimensional. So transitioning from plastic packaging to alternate materials, even if it's biodegradable, but the paper-based and cardboard-based packaging uh, are not like, they're not that durable or recyclable. And since the packaging also come with laminations, since they come with like different prints and all, which are uh, chemically by nature, they're not biodegradable. So these packaging related materials are not 100% sustainable that way. Again, customer based customer based engagement and behavior, that also that's a strategy which depends on various factors including geography, but yes, they could definitely make a difference with plant based meals and the buyback programs. And IKEA always wants to have a very good balance between affordability and sustainability. But the requirement of sustainable materials and the processes to actually fetch them may raise a huge production cost, risking, like tensions between environmental goals, and there could be political situations also. And just one-time investment of huge amount doesn't, it doesn't work like SIP or mutual fund. It actually needs to be revisited every financial year, and the investment has to be like there constantly done for each and every strategy which are into place, because the ROI would otherwise slow down. And again, the reaping of ROI also doesn't come just like that in one flash. It actually shows up in year-on-year based reports. And like we also discussed, that measurement and data reliability, because of those gaps for which we don't have any data, hence we cannot always say that our reporting and our data is like, IKEA's reporting and data is completely correct or accurate. Some other IKEA commitments, it has been there. Uh, uh, it has been a very good participant in COP 2025, and it did a presentation on climate positive journey, showcasing their vision for greener planet and how they can actually uh, beat the carbon emissions by 2030. So, and they also had a partnership with UNCC for co-hosting sessions on land use, forestry, agriculture, and industrial transformation, which from my perspective is actually one of the business strategies, because these are the resources that they are using heavily. So now moving on to resource management, since we talked about it. So they have talked about water agenda, forest agenda, biodiversity agenda. You can see that, like we discussed about uh, the requirement of water. So reducing fresh water use, that's one of the targets. Why? Because for the factory, they would be having a lot of effluents going into the freshwater reservoirs also. And hence that becomes their major targets, because again, that is linked with the community. Improving water quality definitely has to be there, because it's not just wood they're talking about. There are other things which are involved, like the chemicals for inking, chemicals for packaging, recycling. So a lot of things, where will that water go? So for all of that, so everything here in the resource, is not just solely related to their operations, they're also related to stakeholders. Then wood forestry, we also had a glance of it, like why, like how IKEA has been and how much of wood it has been consuming for creating, for coming up with the furniture. And forest agenda, so responsibly managed forests. That's why they have gone for FCC also, because that if that certification is there with the stakeholders that they are dealing with, then they definitely have that reliability in place. And collaborating to make responsible forest management the norm, efficiently used wood materials, mitigating climate impact and enhancing biodiversity. They also have biodiversity agenda because they are using different uh, biodiversity related resources. So I'll also showcase that. So cotton, after wood, cotton is another uh, material which they have been consuming, and you can see that these are the countries, sorry, which have been major sources for cotton procurement for IKEA. Alongside, to have a very good balance with the community, IKEA is also promoting social entrepreneurship to create more resources for them for better and healthier collaborations. So here, like in the previous slides, one of the slides I talked about having, like, one of the cons is that just to have the global uh, carbon footprint in place for all the geographies where IKEA is operating out of. So to have that balance, they need like really good uh, quality of collaborations, and this is one step in that business strategy. Other than cotton and wood, palm oil is another perennial resource which it has been consuming for its products. Coffee, tea, cocoa also for the inking, and yeah, then comes the animal based. So for wool also, like majorly for wool and different kind of materials that they require for creating, uh, uh, creating any design for any furniture. So they are also kind of using animal-based resources and plant-based resources, which is why with the commitment here, as you can see, is like co-hosting sessions on land use, second bullet point, land use, forestry, agriculture, and industrial transformation. So this could be, according to me, like this could be one of the reasons why greenwashing accuse was there on IKEA. So, however, now talking in favor of the good works that IKEA has been doing so far. So IKEA's compliances has been as per these standards: GRI 2021, SBTI initiative for IPCC goals, SDG alignment also, majorly these four SDGs like clean energy and affordability, then responsible consumption and production, goal 13 climate action and life on land. Then uh, FSC certified and recycled responsible forestry management. Then Better Cotton Initiative is another um, alliance certification that they have alignment with. RE 100 membership for businesses which are opting for renewable electricity, EU taxonomy and due diligence, internal codes and frameworks. This I pulled out from again from the CSR report. So IWay supplier code of conduct, product sustainability scorecard, and circular product design principles. So like I discussed about plaza design, de-assemblage and assemblage of products. So this actually falls under this last bullet point, third sub bullet point actually. So stakeholder management. So some of the partners that IKEA has been working in collaboration with. So Business for Nature, BSR, then Center for Child Rights and Business Center, Climate and Clean Air Coalition. Then there is collaboration with uh, International Labour Organization also for child labor platform. UNICEF, UNFCCC, including Race to Zero, then Science Based Targets Network and SBTI, then a lot of them that they have tried to collaborate with for having a sustainable process in place so that the business goes on. And then from GHG perspective, what they have here is IKEA accounts for scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions definitely in FY23. Scope 3 definitely made up the majority of total emissions, and it still is, especially for the materials, transport, and product usage. It follows IPCC guidelines, LCA database, and supplier-specific data. Then carbon footprint trends, IKEA's absolute GHG emissions were approximately 24.4 million in 2023. And yeah, so which decreased over by 2024 by 20% from the baseline. So baseline reduction was 20%, and emission reduction targets, they claim to be climate positive by 2030 and validated by SBTI to align with 1.5 degree climate goal. Targets include 80% reduction in scope 1 and 2 emissions by 2030 and 50% in scope 3 per product by 2030. Some carbon reduction strategies aiming for transition to 100% renewable electricity. Not sure whether that would be possible, because they might be able to do that for the for those kind of facilities and operations which are within their control. But in all the geographies, again, that's very demanding in terms of finance and technology, and also orientation of mentality. Material substitution, they want to move from virgin fossil based to recycled and renewable plants, renewable inputs. Transport decarbonization, which they want to do with shift to EVs, and customer use emissions. So they want to promote plant-based and more energy efficient based products. Some eyebrow raisers, like I mentioned about, so they were accused of greenwashing and carbon accounting tactics. So this is something I read in Carbon Market Watch. So which claimed, New Climate Institute and Carbon Market questioned IKEA's carbon neutrality. So that's something which is definitely an eyebrow raiser for me. Illegal logging and forest certification failures. Again, the claim for FSC is agreeable or not, it becomes really doubtful. And exaggerated climate claims, like they have been able to decrease this much amount of emissions, or they have been able to contribute in a huge way for biodiversity or the community, or for any agenda like water and wood they have. So they were all revisited. So these are like some of the accusations, or I would say contradictions or controversies that IKEA has been through. Yeah. So key takeaways, like IKEA sustainability efforts definitely demonstrate climate action can be both environmental and economic benefits. So like any CSR or climate action has to be like people, planet, and profit based. 3P structure should be there. So I mean, to me, it's quite a surprise that a big company like this is discovering this now. But again, if they have discovered this and aligning with it, then nothing like it. Its transparent reporting fosters trust and innovative approaches. A lot of innovative approaches, undoubtedly, they have been trying to put in place, right from the design to having like better supply and procurement to recycling, all of that. Innovation through sustainability. Some of the key takeaways which are there in the CSR report: climate positive by 2030, transition to renewable circular product design, then sustainable sourcing and forest protection, climate smart food, then scope 3 emission reduction, data transparency, community development, which they are also still practicing, as is mentioned in their report, like fair wages, um, uh, IKEA Foundation initiatives to fund the community-based programs for health, education, livelihoods, etc. Skill development and employment, local sourcing and inclusion. This fourth point, according to me, is a good enabler for carbon offsetting and also to reduce carbon emissions, because if we get local supplies, then it's more likely to have reduced carbon emissions and to, having like total a very good reduction in the total carbon footprint. So on left hand side, just to back it up with what they are claiming, I have also shared some links of what how they follow fair treatment with the employees and fair hiring and fair uh, you know uh, fair treatment with the employees who are associated with them. Code of conduct for IKEA group co-workers, also for IKEA franchisees, and of course there is a system for IKEA suppliers with iWay. This is just a chart of gender diversity. I couldn't ignore it because I've been working with the WEPs for so long, so I just couldn't ignore it. So some of the franchisees, how many co-workers, it's not just uh, the gender, also the diversity that they have, how many in the management systems, how many in the supervisory board, likewise. For biodiversity preservation, we talked about forest management. Landscape restoration projects are also something that they have been into. They're collaborating with NGOs and experts to assess biodiversity impact, sourcing policy with biodiversity criteria, like we discussed about wood, cotton, food, perennial sourcing materials also. And they're also trying to increase traceability for rattan from forests in Vietnam and Indonesia, which can threaten, again, biodiversity and ecosystems by contributing to potential extinction of some of the rattan species. So they're trying to curb that. Some ongoing analysis and evaluation of biodiversity methodologies, which can, again, decrease their consumption of resources and have better, I mean, they can have better, I would say, responsible consumption for the SDG that they have declared that they are aligning with. Of course, with global biodiversity framework, they are associated because the major sourcing of materials is biodiversity based, and they have partnered with WWF also. And yeah, these are the reference links I actually visited to come up with whatever I could come up with right now. Thank you.
Good job, Smriti. And the best part of your presentation was uh, that you have included a lot of external studies as well, along with their report. And you also reflected a lot of report documents. You would have avoided that. You would have converted if time given to you. I understand the time was limit. But good stuff. Long could have been made shorter, but
Yes.
depth was definitely there. And you, here I come with inputs now. Thank you very much, everyone. Good job done. Now, this is just a teaser. Actual work should happen in your final presentation. That's what expectation. So, what are the learnings? Five things you should take away from this. The first one, see Smriti, see Mayur, see, whoever has done a great job going in depth. And what you need to learn from there that they have taken area of advantage and attack this presentation from there. For example, Smriti is very good at building materials, etc. So she understand that sector. So she used IKEA as a forefront. She had a passion for it. Same goes with Major. Major had a passion for finance. So he attacked with the UNFCC background. The case study was same. But how many of you have seen? None of them was same at all. Not a single slide. Means, हाँ, yeah, एक दो में हुआ है कि somebody has reflected other slide, but most of them has come up with something new. How many have you observed that? Right? That is the amazing part of these presentation. We always bring the same case study, and approach is always the difference. Always different approach everybody will bring. Okay. So advantage people will have who attacks from their strength. Okay. So always think through next time when you are doing it, even your debate. Now debate we will be doing on Sunday. Okay. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have to complete the carbon, carbon market and carbon framework. So I cannot compromise on that. So let's have the session tomorrow, and debate we will have on Sunday, 11 o'clock. And examination, we will postpone it. Fair? You need to do the presentation, and we will have a different set of, different date. We will start the project, and in between one day, we will do the presentation as well. Clear? So something like that after Monday we will do. Now, so second learning you should have from these all discussions are reduce the time span. Okay. If you will keep 30 minutes, it will go to 45 minutes because you are passionate about it. And when you are speaking, nobody wants to intervene. But that doesn't mean your stakeholder will be happy about it. They have limited time, right? And generally these are board matter. So be specific and limit your presentation in stipulated time. Next time, of course, in final, you get 10 to 15 minutes specifically. And the final exam takes care of from beginning till, presentation of decarbonization plan. So it's a massive exercise. You have to fit it in 15 minutes. If you exceed, you cut mark, and after 20 minutes, I will cut the line. Yeah, that's how it works. So this is your second learning, that there will be a depth requirement and you will feel like increasing the presentation, but don't do it. Clear? Otherwise, it will act against you. Third learning which we have from even yesterday, a lot of people have done a great job. Keep on slide minimal information. Minimal. What will happen? People will appreciate that. Speak from your notes, speak from your, whatever you want. But when you are displaying or something on slide, let people focus only on those 4-5 things. Yeah, ideally 3 things. That's on the presentation. Fourth input is that your depth of research should be cutting edge. Whoever has done that got appreciated. Depth has to be there. What does this mean? That you are comprehensively understanding that company's problem. Now, tomorrow, anybody wants to talk about Juari, they will be approaching Smriti. Anybody wants to talk about IKEA, they will be approaching the people, IKEA approach towards biodiversity. IKEA approach towards any specific topic from here. If you understand the relationship with that topic versus other, you have showcased to world that you have authority in that subject. That is why in-depth research is required. Yeah. So now if I ask anything from IKEA, the people who have presented, all of you, has done a massive work. You will be able to answer those questions. Is it true or not? Same goes with Majar on Toyota. Same goes with, yesterday team members who has presented on Costa Rica or Denmark. This is the advantage of doing a presentation. Okay. So don't treat this as an exercise and get fed up with it. Rather take this as an opportunity to showcase your authority. So next 2 labs which are going to happen, trust me, they are critical for you to get real world experience. Because whatever you will say in debate, there will be somebody who will come back and say you are wrong. How to defend your points will prove whether you have done justice to that debate or not. Right? Which is also not a normal scenario in a corporate. Corporate में आपको assignment दी जाती है, आप finish करके लेके चले आते हो. But decision maker face this situation. That's why I'm giving you that experience. That if you are in that decision making position of CSO, CEO, CXO, board of director, how will you react? Will decide your fate in that company or fate of that company itself. And you will watch that on Sunday. Clear? So these are few learnings. Good job, everyone. Please clap. Everybody start the camera and clap for other or give the virtual clap now. We are only 8 people. Yes, Sridhar, you have a question as well. First clap and then ask the question. Okay.
So because I was doing this project, I was really overwhelmed because for me, every area is neutral. I'm neutral for all the aspects, right? Because for me, and correlating and strategizing is really difficult because I gain the knowledge by reading and then I try to correlate with everything. But it's very difficult for me to strategize because I am focusing on what strategy they have and whether it's good or bad is depending on what I have read.
That is
So
how
in the
you,
debate, how
no, that is how you build. First, you learn from somebody is doing right or wrong, understand what they did, and then you apply in your real life. This goes to back of your mind. Don't worry. Next time, nobody will come and ask you what IKEA did. But you know what IKEA did when you will be applying in Juari, you will be applying in, different context. That can I deploy this technology there? Now that comparison analysis which Smriti shown, have you seen all three company has a different direction. None of them are following the same pathway. Even though she compared on the same characteristics, none of them are following it. So we can, or say tomorrow, not only these three companies, some other company comes to you, Green Plywood, asking your advice. At least you know how these company has approached as a strategy. And you already have the building block, right? Put that structure and those opportunity. That's why I ask you that sector specific screenshot will help you. Use one of those, try it if it works, and then apply it. In debate, now that will happen live. Now there you did not to strategize. It will be mostly confrontal. Okay. The discussion will be about that whether you are thinking right or wrong. So you need to have fact in debate and you have to defend that fact with all honesty of your own self. Whether you believe in that fact or you don't believe in that fact, decide that and come with that mindset. The people who lose in debate are the one who changes their side. Always remember that. You have to maintain your facts. That's it. Stick with it. You will be the winner of the debate. However, there is no winner, no loser in our debate. It's only the issue which is at hand. We just justify. So I will summarize it. Don't worry, right? But point is, don't change your sides. If you have a stick with one fact, believe that you have done enough research. There is nothing further than this, and put your heart and soul in that debate. And the other thing which today we are doing is completely different. It is to just give you a background knowledge that this is how company approach their strategy. This is how their scope 1, 2 impacts them. This is how their competitor treats them. This is how their market share sometime will decide fate in certain country, right? So we need to, and a good job done. You have done enough research, enough understanding. Apply that when you are doing the final presentation, which will happen somewhere on Monday, okay, after the debate. So let's learn tomorrow carbon market fundamental. Then we will move to this debate exercise on Sunday, 11 a.m. And then we will have our final exam on Monday evening, 7 o'clock. Till then,
तो मंडे का एग्जाम जो है वो ऑब्जेक्टिव है सब्जेक्टिव है
objective hai. There will be with people score above 80, everybody. So don't worry about the exam as long as you can complete the presentation. Presentation is important there. There will be a full exercise. There is a 10 or 15 page case study which will be given and you have to solve and bring it up, which I will give you on Sunday. So you will have enough time.
Monday I'll not be there. I have, as I told you, I have meetings, so I have to go.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. We will see now. Anyway, all dates are muddled up. I don't know how I will get time. I have a next session is starting, so I have to see how I can conduct your exam. But it is tentatively on Monday. Okay. Anyway, exercise will be given. You have to submit the presentation and give the examination. We'll see how we can adjust. अब आप बोल दियो अजय आएगा ही नहीं. मेरे को ट्रबल 2-4 लोगों से है जो सीरियस नहीं है. वो मेरे को ट्रबल है. सीरियस नहीं है, बोलिए सीरियस नहीं है सर, मेरे को ये फायदा नहीं कर रहा है, सो आई एम नॉट सीरियस. बट he is very active on certain ground, but sometime when seriousness comes, I don't know what happens to him. Anyway, we are grown up. We know what we are doing. So take care, everyone. Good night. See you tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Good night to all. Bye bye.
Bye.
Night.